you look at Schedule 4, it clearly states that part of the schedules of the national government is agricultural policy. Agricultural policy, veterinary policy, health policy. That's at the national level. When you go at the county government functions under agriculture, you have crop and animal husbandry, which now includes those activities, livestock sales yard, county abattoirs, plant and animal disease control. Plant and animal disease control, because now that's part of the responsibility of the county, not the national government. That's the constitution. When you go to health, at the county level, whereas the national level you have policy, at the county level you have county health facilities and pharmacies. You have ambulance services, promotion of primary health care, licensing, control and undertakings, veterinary services, cemetery, refuse removal and such. So what you are talking about, you are not limiting, what you are doing is you are passing a law and then you are going further to implementation instead of providing the money to the counties for the counties to implement. And this is why I'm saying we have had a clear clawback on devolution functions by the national government, and especially on the point of service delivery of Wanjiko, because it has become a political theater. Because you want to meet the people, under the agendas of the national government, you have not been able to do activities that meet the people. Yep. So where do you want to meet farmers? At veterinary services, when you're providing immunization, when you're providing vaccines. If you are not able to meet the people at the county level, you take one of the county government functions, meet the farmers at farmer registration, meet the farmers at fertilizer subsidy distribution. And this now becomes what is supposed to be a clearly county government function. It's uptaken. And I want to challenge Mheshimiwa here. Go look at the national budget, the Ministry of Agriculture right now, and then look at the county government budget. You'll find that the budget of agriculture, which is clearly a national county government function, which is a devolved function, the national governments hold the bulk of the budget of the national budget, whereas the county combined, the total 47 counties holds a fraction of that budget, which is at the national level. Then you ask yourselves, if the resources are supposed to meet functions, when are the money going to come to the counties?
Now, some of the problem is the president is still the Minister for Health, Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Water, Minister for Housing. It's the president who is still the Minister for Health.
So how should he? Because I thought there's something she was saying about standardization of approaches.
Yes.
That's the policy.
That's the policy.
That's the policy.
And by the way,
for example, you create the social health insurance policy, which I agree with 100%.
Yeah.
You agree with 100%. Yes. Then we're supposed to do registration of the people. It's the county government.
Allow me to give an example. Allow me to give the example of the revenue collection. People are told for you to carry goods from one county to the other, the moment you start from this county, pay 2,000 shillings. You enter the next county, they charge you another 2,000 shillings. So if you are moving from Nandi, for example, to Mombasa, you will pass about 8 different counties or 10 different counties, and each county you are paying 2,000 shillings. The cost of your product, even if advertising, the cost of your product becomes very expensive. So a legislation came, and I participated in that legislation that says that let's have a uniform revenue collection fee, that if one county has charged you, then the next county should not charge you. And that actually helped the person or the Kenyan mwananchi, so that he doesn't feel like the cost of his product is now very expensive because they have to be charged in every county. Even that cost of advertising that Mheshimiwa Manzo is talking about, you shouldn't be charging everywhere you go. It should be from one county, and then it is agreed how that revenue goes. And that is what we are trying to say, that let this service that we are giving to this mwananchi not be expensive. Where we have, where we've talked about the immunization or the artificial insemination or fertilizers.
Fake fertilizers.
Fake is another story altogether. It's another topic altogether. And remember, I participated in the impeachment process of a fake fertilizer. But where we give such kind kind of services, at that national level, it can be negotiated. And that is an agreement that is normally done between at the summit between counties and national government. And when they come out with that, they sign an agreement.
Tell me, Mheshimiwa Kitani, what is the place of the national government doing the registration of farmers?
So, like, for example, in the issue of the fertilizer, it is an agreement that was done between county governments and national governments that we shall help in providing, subsidized fertilizer. But to be able to know these farmers, national government offered, and counties agreed that national government can register, and that data is available to county governments.
Sorry, part of where I disagree with the motion.
Just wait, I'll give you an opportunity to rebut. On that point, so if a discussion was held and governors agreed, and you look at the Constitution, is it the right thing to be doing?
It is the right thing to do, because they also say at summit you can actually agree on certain functions and so share with it and put in an agreement.
Let me ask you, because
it's actually allowed in the Constitution.
Because of course it is.
Yes.
Because in every other country you have farmers, whether they aquatic or it's the
marine
on the farm or it's pastoral.
Yes.
When you look at the specifics, who would better know what the region knows? I mean, what the region needs. And is it the right thing for the national government actually to be distributing fertilizer? Shouldn't that be just left to the county?
And you see, counties, the national government does not distribute fertilizer to the very end. It only distributes to NCPB. And from NCPB, counties are supposed to pick it up and give it to the farmers. That is the actual agreement.
Does NCPB distribute or the county does?
The county is supposed to pick it. The county is supposed to pick it from
Let's be candid. Let's be candid and be honest, Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
You see, NCPB is the one that does the disbursement of fertilizer. And part of the reason why even the registration of farmers, we currently are doing the second phase of farmer registration. You see, during the initial...
As Murang'a or as
No, the national government is currently doing the second phase of registration of farmers for fertilizer. As we speak, it was launched yesterday.
So that what happens?
So that we can continue providing fertilizer to farmers. The one challenge...
Sorry, what has happened to the previous registration?
No, it's a continuation. They want to add more farmers into the program.
To update the system. Okay.
The challenge that I find here, and this is why I'm saying about these issues, whereas crop husbandry that includes... The crop husbandry includes fertilizers, distribution, and the rest. It's clearly a county government functions. But during the first registration, you know who did the registration? Chiefs and assistant chiefs. That's a national government line of administration in terms of registration. We never knew about it until we saw chiefs going with forms registering farmers. The counties were never involved. The agricultural officer was never involved. Now we are surprised that within the same list that people did not indicate the number of acreages, kind of crops, they were not adequately captured.
Yeah.
And aside from that point, the major point here is that even when the national government does such level of registration, they don't share that data with the counties that they have registered farmers.
Do you have a fertilizer program as Murang'a County?
Yes, as Murang'a County, we have our own fertilizer program. And we were ourselves, we were forced to go directly to do our own farmer registration as a county. Whereas the national government had already done farmer registration as a county, since we did not have access to data that was collected by the national government. What we were forced to do is put more money as a county, go to the primary schools in every village in the county so that we can do farmer registration, so that we can adequately distribute fertilizer, we can adequately distribute maize seeds, which are certified.
So your farmers are receiving from both the national government and the county government?
Yes.
That's price of free.
For county, we provide free fertilizer, we provide free seeds, because that's our function, and that's according to the Constitution. But the county, at the national level, the NCPB at the county level is the one that does the distribution, not the county.
So, Senator, this is duplication of roles.
Yes.
Why are we allowing it?
First and foremost, the government should let go of devolution. They should allow...
Devolution, or there's something Senate can do?
Well, Senate can pass a legislation, because, but at least the Constitution is sufficient in what must be. This is just lack of political goodwill. we need more oversight from the House so that the Minister of Agriculture can be summoned. And also during budget making process, this is the time the national government allocates itself funds to do these things, and it denies the counties funds. It's more of a political problem, I'll call it, so that there must be commitment by governments be formed to the Constitution and to the implementation of Constitution to make sure that devolution works. And one of the best ways to deal with it, because the two previous governments have weakened devolution, instead of strengthening devolution. One of the solutions is for Kenyans now to decide that we are going to follow our Constitution and that we elect a government which will implement the Constitution. Unfortunately, the current government is not implementing, and one of the ways it should be done is by making sure this government is sent home by Kenyans themselves, so that you can have a government which can implement the Constitution. This one has completely refused to implement the Constitution. It has frustrated the counties. It has frustrated devolution. And as the good Deputy Governor has read, the Constitution is clear under Schedule 4 what must happen. That has not been followed, and roles have not been followed by budget.
Tell me, because there appears, whether it was manufactured or real, there was a problem with fertilizer when President William Ruto was coming into the office.
Yes.
It was retailing close to 7,000 shillings, and so it was necessary to subsidize. So tell me, what ideally should happen? Because the national government, at the time, subsidizing means the government is footing a bit of the bill. I don't know what's happening now. I don't know what the international prices are.
That's still the case.
What ideally should happen? Because in the end, the farmer benefits.
First of all, what happened around that time, there were donated fertilizers. So if they are donated, they are free. And when they come to the country, they should not be sold. So they ended up being sold.
We were told what was donated was used for blending.
Well, what I saw in Parliament that time was the droppings of a donkey mixed with a little bit of maram, supplied as fertilizer. And I was wondering where on earth do you have so many donkeys with so much droppings?
How do you even know that it was donkey?
It was brought to the house. and I was in the committee.
It was tested for donkey.
Yeah, I know what donkey droppings look like because I'm a farmer of donkeys in Makwede. And I was in the Committee of Agriculture, and we went, you could even smell it. We went around the country, and it was brought on the floor of the house, and no one could believe it. And I can assure you, the Minister of Agriculture then did not know about it. He was knowing it on the floor of the house.
Yeah.
Other people did it. Other people did it through the system, and even the KEBS, labeling, and that it has come from outside the country and it has gone through. So that sort of blending did not happen. We now need a system which works for the people of Kenya. We do not want, fraudulent running of the government, so that there's a lot of fraud going on. And farmers then were promised to be compensated by the national government. If the national government had allowed this matter to be a matter of counties, then we will hold each governor and their CEC agriculture responsible. There will be more responsible. So devolve agriculture, devolve health, and let the national government stop pretending further by holding funds and conducting activities at national level. They have refused to devolve since the upcoming of new constitution. So it's a time now we lived this new constitution, and I believe it will benefit Kenyans. So far, no monies have been devolved sufficiently for agriculture and health. All the monies are still at the national level.
Allow me to say this. I'm surprised he's a senator who is supposed to be oversighting counties and monies going to devolution, and he's the first person to throw the stone to say that monies are being held at national level, yet he's the one who appropriates that money. We just recently passed the budget of 2025-26, and he happily passed 415 billion to counties.
I'm twisted.
Why would you be twisted? You're a member of parliament.
By the national government. So, the only thing we can do is to do an impeachment.
Allow me to finish. And therefore, he needs to do his role. And if his role, one of his functions is to impeach because somebody is not doing his work, let him bring the impeachment motion, and we shall look at it and with its merits. But what I'm trying to say is that the Constitution of Kenya actually created more than 3 arms of government, if I may put it. It has the executive, it has the judiciary, and it has the legislature. And of course, it now has the 4th arm, which is now the independent commissions and oversight commissions, that all of them combined are supposed to serve one person who is the common mwananchi. And therefore, in cases like, for example, where the counties are claiming that national government is still clawing back or holding back. No, national government allow me to finish. Where they are claiming, when they bring those issues to Senate, which is their oversight, and Senate is unable to do it, they can bring it to National Assembly. When we are unable to, there is judiciary. There are also other independent arms of government. And actually, collectively, if each and every arm of government did what it's supposed to do, then nobody should be complaining about
supposed to do that.
Allow me to finish. Allow me. I did not interfere with you. So, if every arm of government does what it's supposed to do, we shouldn't be complaining. So the complaints here come because one arm of government, like for example, the Senate, instead of doing what they're supposed to do, start doing National Assembly work. You start going to oversight on issues that are not within the purview of Senate. If they did what is their issues, oversight within the purview of county government work, then they should be the first people who are saying, but National Assembly, this is where you are doing and this is what you are not doing. And allow me to also say the issues of data collection and saying that we are not giving counties their roles. When we talk about policy and policy formulation, how do you come about data on policy? Policy is based on data. It's based on information. So if I go to the ground, I register farmers, and I come back and now say, based on the number of farmers we have and the kind of farming they do, because it is not just about do you have a farm, it is what do you farm, what do you do. So outside, with all that information, we come and do a policy.
Don't you think it is possible to collect data from the county governments, because the counties know their farmers?
You know, there is the separation of powers between counties and national government, but national government also is equipped and resourced to be able to do its own functions.
You're saying that if the national government does not register farmers, they'll be incapable of coming up with policy that targets the entire country.
Wait, yes.
But also the Constitution appreciates that there's the place of collaboration. And
but we also need to appreciate.
You don't trust the county government.
But we also need.
I haven't asked the question. Just hear the question.
Okay, fine.
Don't you believe that counties are able to register their farmers with the highest level of detail that you may want at the national level?
They could be able to. So and I'm not saying, no, I'm not saying they are. I've said they could be able to, but you need to also appreciate that the level of sophistication of each county varies from county to county. That is a fact of life today. Not all counties, like for example today, do all counties have a revenue collection system? No, they don't. Some do, some don't.
So they don't collect revenue?
They collect revenue, some manual processes, some use automated systems, and that is a fact of life today. So the Controller of Budget and Auditor General have said, please put in place systems. So some places say we don't have network in our area. So therefore,
does not have the system, does it warrant the national government to come and start collecting revenue at the county level?
So if national government has to do a policy and it has to do within a certain time frame, what then is it supposed to do? And one of the things is you can collect data from counties, but at the same time use your mechanisms, because remember, national government is also spread across the whole country, and they can use their mechanisms up to including the chiefs and assistant chiefs that they are talking about to collect and collate data that they can use for policy formulation. And you see, by using the chiefs and assistant chiefs, we are not increasing the cost of collecting that data. Because anyway, the chief and the assistant chief is still there. They're still paid a salary. Which is
still duplication of roles that are supposed to be done by the counties.
No, in terms of national security, that is not a function. National security is not a function devolved. It is still a function of national government.
As you talk about the level of sophistication, SHA is national.
Yes.
And you have interesting facilities claiming money from SHA.
and that is the reason.
At the same time, there's something else you're dealing with. Aren't you dealing with e-citizen?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
How much money has the Auditor General flagged? About 9.6 billion shillings.
And the matter is before us, and we are actually investigating that. We are actually looking into that matter.
Still at the same level of sophistication. You know about the free primary education, the free day secondary education, and you've heard of ghost schools.
Yes.
So really, what are you saying? That the
what I'm saying is the reason even why those things come out is because of that level of sophistication. If that was not present, we would not be having those.
Sophisticated enough. it would be able to tell who is fraudulent.
But we know. We have the figures. We have the information.
After the fact.
We have the information. But also, Parliament comes after the fact. Remember, executive implements. We come after because we oversight what they do.
I'm not saying you as Parliament after the fact, but the national government actually. Thank God we have the Auditor General. We may have never known. And who says it's not deliberate?
And I'm happy that the Auditor General is there and it's an independent office so that they are able to check. And remember also, Auditor General comes after the fact because Auditor General comes at the end of a financial year, not as they are implementing. Because executive in their operations should have their own, what they call internal auditor, who should be looking at their operations as they go. Yeah.
So I want us to spend the remaining minutes to really talk about what shall we do, because 15 years of the Constitution and Kenyans still feel that the governance system is not serving them. You look at the economy of this country, Kenyans are complaining about lack of employment opportunities. The president is complaining about corruption at all levels of governance. So really, has this Constitution meant well for Kenyans or not?
You know, I'm very glad that His Excellency the President declared a Katiba Day. Which is meant to celebrate the 2010 Constitution and its implementation. But in the same breath, I want to challenge the national government on what the Constitution, on the implementation of the Constitution 100%. Not partially because it feels right, not partially because it's politically relevant, but constitutionally because of the sake of posterity and for the development of this nation. I want to go back to the Schedule 4. And I want to challenge Mheshimiwa here. Because when we are speaking about the Constitution implementation, then it means that we need to be very candid about what the framers of the 2010 Constitution understood about devolution and what is supposed to be there. I want you to look at some of the elements that should be left to the counties as part of their devolved function. When you talk about county transport, you have county roads. We had a tug of war with the National Assembly last year on road maintenance levy about the monies that is supposed to come to the counties in terms of implementation. We spent an entire year fighting through the courts, fighting through various disagreements, through Council of Governors, and up until there was no other time left until now the national government had to provide that money so that we can maintain roads. You still have on animal control and welfare, the issues to do with veterinary services, the issues to do with animal husbandry, the issues to do with vaccines that belongs to the livestock. When you talk about trade and development and regulations that belongs to the county, we have the issues of markets. But then ask Mheshimiwa here how many markets the national government is doing. And if the money was actually available, it's supposed to come to the counties as conditional allocations to the counties so that the counties can provide the clear priorities of the county. And I want to challenge, look at the markets that have already been done even with the previous administration. You have Kangudo market there here in Nairobi. It's still vacant years after its completion. You have the Githurai market. Since it was constructed as a 5-story building, traders have never set foot inside that market because they are still doing their business on the roadside. And I am not quite sure about the other markets that are being done currently, but those are county government functions as per Schedule 4. Look at county planning, the issues of statistics. When you talk about county planning and development, statistics is supposed to be a function of the county to collect statistics at the county level so that we can provide that. Look at another element of housing. Housing is a county government function, but you find that the biggest program of the national government as we speak is housing. So you get to understand, and I'm glad that the president clearly said that we are going to have a Katiba Day in this nation so that we can celebrate implementation. I would love to see that as we celebrate Katiba Day in this country, that all these elements that are held in terms of resources, in terms of implementation, at the national level, can actually be implemented. And the money that is available at the national level for this function, it's brought at the county level. Another function is cooperative societies. Cooperative societies and its management supposed to belong to the county government. But then you find that even regulation, you find that even the PS, the bodies that regulate cooperatives are at the national level, through the Ministry of Cooperatives and SME. Yet this is a function. The Ministry of Cooperatives and SME is a new creation in this administration.
Are you telling me there's no role of the national government in management of cooperatives?
It's supposed to be at policy level. And this is, and I'm looking at Schedule 4. And when you look at Schedule 4, it clearly states about where the national government has policy level responsibilities and not implementation responsibilities. And when you look at part of even the independent offices, we have offices that are supposed to serve both the national government and the county government. But we have some offices that have absolutely forgot that they are supposed to serve both the levels of the county. One of them is Treasury. And when you look at the disbursement of the county government monies, you find that the counties have to wait months and months to receive their monies. But when the minister and the PS ask for the same money...
But the financial year ending June 2025 was different. You received all the money within that year.
Within that year?
Yeah.
Ask about the money that belongs to March, May, and the last month of June, and some including some counties in February. We received them 2 weeks to the end of the financial year.
So it was late?
2 weeks. You are receiving billions of money 2 weeks to the closure of the financial year.
Which means the money goes back.
You understand what
the money goes back. The money goes back to Treasury.
I'm telling you, you don't understand what that actually means.
You can't procure.
2 weeks towards the end of the financial year. During that time, now when each and every other county is fighting for the controller of budget to approve all the monies that you are supposed to spend, and all the counties are supposed to line up at the controller of budget so that that money can be approved and spent. You wonder why counties roll over with pending bills? Because when that process within those 2 weeks, the system is slow, because each and every county is fighting for that space. Right. And now when we go through that process, then how is the county government supposed to function?
Okay, all right. I hear you, DG, for that clarity. Senator Manzo.
Yes.
So 15 years later?
I want to say that the Constitution has not been implemented by the last two governments. And it's a high time that Kenyans now decided to implement the new Constitution. It is useless to declare Katiba Day when you have not followed the Constitution at all. You have not implemented, you have suspended Article 37, where there is no, free assembly and freedom of speech. You have suspended, Schedule 4, and you have not implemented it at all. And when you announce, as a matter of PR, that we have sent money to the counties, you send them 1 week. What happens, it means that actually what happens, it means what has reached the county is a yellow paper, show you that you have money, but that money cannot leave the central bank, it cannot leave Treasury, because you have to begin planning the new financial year. So it is actually a lie. And therefore, counties need to be funded on time, so that it can be able to implement its agendas. We have an issue of pending bills.
Your House passes a schedule saying that by 15th of every month you receive your allocation.
We do pass a schedule.
Nothing when it's never followed.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, Parliament has been put under a very heavy hand by the executive. And
whose hand is that?
The executive. The executive has, to a large extent,
it's the system.
Control is a system. The national government is making a very heavy attempt to control what happens in the House. Even the bills which pass through there is a lot of lobbying to make sure that it goes the government way. So what I'm simply saying is that we need to leave the Constitution. And you need a government which believes in the new Constitution. If you have a government which does not believe in this Constitution, even which never supported it when it was brought into law.
It was not a government then.
It was an individual who is now the head of the government. And I'm saying, with this sort of thinking, you need a new change in the country. We need all the young people to register as Kenyans, and they register as voters, and then vote out this government which does not believe in the new constitution, to bring a government which can implement the new constitution and serve Kenyans equally, and make sure that devolution works. If devolution works, there will be a lot of jobs created at the counties, and the Kenyans will live much better than the way we are today.
15 years down the road. This is the second president, but the third government, if so to speak, under the fourth actually, under the new constitution. And in this, it is this government that has actually thought about a Katiba Day. I think that alone is an appreciation that the executive and the government, which is actually all of us, wanting to think about a day of reflection as to where we've reached. I think that is a plus, and it is not something to, because if someone did not want to be accountable, they shouldn't have put a Katiba Day. What has happened 15 years down the road? I think we need to first appreciate that the first 10 years had a lot of period of transfer of functions, and there were bodies like Transition Authority, that its term came to an end, that in the first term, the first 10 years, were able to now transfer the functions. The issues that counties are looking at and saying that the national government is plowing back and all those kind of things, I think we need to look at the constitution wholesomely, not just look at the schedule that transferred functions, but look at it wholesomely, because inside the same constitution also confers functions to the executive. Like, for example, a right to social security is a right of the state. And the state here, as per the same constitution, and Article 1 talks about who is the state. And the state is actually the national government. So I think much as we say some things, we need to actually look at what then does the constitution then confer inside the constitution. And this Katiba Day is a day when we all need to reflect. I think also we need to appreciate and also know that we have many arms of government. Judiciary is one of them. And I think judiciary have played a really critical role in trying to define and confirm what really are those functions. And where someone is aggrieved, especially the constitutional courts, they are able to tell you, you are actually unconstitutional in this, you are constitutional in this. And we are actually making a lot of progress.
But very important.
No, I can't.
I know it's past time, but Senator Omutata is the one who came with Katiba Day.
Louder than words.
Yes.
The hashtag to use is Citizen DayBreak. What are Kenyans saying this morning on different platforms? You can take a look at that as you also reflect on the Katiba Day that will be marked tomorrow. Engineer Lazaro, the government should move with speed to weed out corruption in the health sector. Kenyans cannot part with their hard-earned money only to enrich a few individuals under the pretext of funding SHA. So next on Dogiria, we were told cartels killed NHIF, and so SHIF was introduced through SHA to curb the menace. What's emerging now is that the cartels remained intact and are grinding SHIF like a maize mill. The real mistake was failing to kill the cartels instead. Johannes Mwoka, it's deeply depressing to hear the extent of corruption under SHA. If the public had not raised the alarm, would the minister have acted at all? Rejected claims must face swift probe and prosecutions within 60 days. No more excuses. That's what you're saying this morning. And of course, the president released that proclamation saying that the Katiba Day shall be observed through the territory of Kenya, and all our diplomatic missions abroad is a day dedicated to renewing our shared commitment to the ideals of our constitution by fostering national dialogue on constitutionalism, governance, and the rule of law, which is what we've been doing the past few minutes on this show. And the day is tomorrow. Bye for now. Thank you so much, DJ Stephen Munania, Mheshimiwa Miriam Kitani, and Senator Dan Manzo for making time for us. All the best as you mark Katiba Day tomorrow. My name is Sam Gituku. See you again some time. Bye for now.